Hello and welcome to the Algebra 2 PLC as we continue our discussion of Unit 2 Topic 3. In this segment we'll be digging into SLT 23. I'm James Key.
And I'm John Chase. It's good to have you back. Let's just jump right in and take a look at SLT 23. And in this SLT we're finally thinking about transformations of the graph 1 over x and 1 over x squared. And I think it's valuable to limit our discussion to just those two. I think that's obviously, they're more complicated rational functions, but these are good. And these first examples are the ones that are presented in the SLT, the ones that you see right here on your screen. So you'll see the first couple are pretty standard transformations of the graph, and we should talk about those in terms of the language we've been using all semester, in terms of reflections and vertical dilations and that kind of thing. The very last one should interest us though, and pique our interest a little bit. F of x minus 2 plus 1. Math teachers in general should be familiar with this notation, but this is somewhat new to our students perhaps. So I think we do our students justice to underscore that and to really have a conversation about what that even means. We have two functions in the same equation.
Absolutely. And as we look at this, let's make sure that students have strategies for explaining their thinking in terms of what's going on with the graph. Can they relate the changes in the equation to the changes that produces in the graph, and can they explain the thinking that goes along with that? Just to highlight a shift in instruction here, at one time it may have been good enough to simply say, hey look, if we have this form, this structure y equals a divided by x minus h plus k, and if the student can identify what the value of a is for a given problem and of h and of k, then that's the end of the conversation. We don't want that to be the end of the conversation. So let's go ahead and focus in on this question right here. In particular, can your students explain the role, not only explain the role of each parameter, but in a way that reveals a conceptual understanding as to what's going on. In other words, let's make sure in our instruction that we're going beyond the what and emphasizing the mathematically interesting why and how elements.
Yeah, and in particular, a good question to ask would be, could your students handle an equation like y equals 1 over 2 plus x or something like that, or is that going to throw them off? So raise those questions with our students.
Absolutely. Maintaining a focus on standards, we just go ahead and look at this domain, which comes from building functions. And we have a standard that says students should be able to identify the effect on the graph of replacing f at x by f at x plus k, or k times f at x, f at kx, or f at x plus k for specific values of k. And that's what we're doing in this SLT. We hope that this overview of SLT 23 is helpful to you with your planning. And the next segment we'll look at SLT 24. Thanks for joining us.